Hey cats, welcome back. It's Carrie, Cat 1, and Michaela, Cat 2, with the Cargo Cats podcast at WAI 2025 in Denver, Colorado. And we've got a special guest. We are here with Captain Laurie Ruiz de Castilla. How did I do?
Great.
She is with Atlas Airlines. Michaela, let's talk to her. I can't wait to get into this.
This is true example of a cargo cat, another cargo cat. She's chief pilot.
Correct.
Pilot, 767. So, we know a little stuff about 767s. Lovely aircraft.
Sister of
and just like the other amazing ladies that we've talked to, I love to hear kind of your story and how you got to eventually being with Atlas. So if you want to just give our viewers a quick synopsis of your past and how you got to where you are, because obviously you've been very successful.
Sure. So yeah, lots of fun. I love being a cargo cat. Been in Atlas for 25 years almost.
Yay, congratulations.
So November will be 25 years. So a great adventure. Before that, I was with U.S. Airways actually for a few years, 2.5 years. And
Did
realized,
you live in Pittsburgh?
No, I've always lived in San Diego, hence why I had to leave U.S. Airways. And also just realized that I did not like passenger flying because cargo is so much more fun. So anyway, I did that for a couple of years. And before that, of course, just commuters. But my path at Atlas has been very exciting. I was on the 747 for 13 years.
Wow.
That's all we had back.
The Queen of the Skies.
Yeah. 13 years doing that, and then I decided I wanted to go to the 7.6 and fly a real airplane.
We were talking yesterday when the 7.4 pulls up next to you, or you're on the ramp, you're like,
feel small.
you feel like a little air, you feel like a little Cessna next to it.
Yes.
Even in the 7.6.
Yeah, people always ask me up at our booth that we're doing here at Women in Aviation, what's the most exciting thing about flying the 747? And I say, when you see a 7.3 or a 7.6 pass in front of you and it looks like a tiny, tiny airplane. So that's pretty funny. I still feel that way. 7.4 is a great airplane, but the 7.6 is more hands-on airplane.
Yeah.
So
That's
it's been a fun journey.
Yeah.
So when you got started, can you just share briefly, what the landscape of the whole entire aviation industry looked like? Because you've kind of paved the way for us, you know what I mean? Like there's this big excitement and push for, females to come into aviation, kind of like World War II with the WASPs, and, there was a lot of women power behind our men going out and fighting on the battlefield, overseas. Can you kind of share what the landscape looked like for you?
It was interesting. I remember not a lot of women. If you had one other woman in your class back in 2000 or in the 90s, oh my gosh. If you had one other woman in your class, it was really, really amazing. You're like, oh my God, yes, there's another woman here. So it was very interesting. But for me, like all the guys just become your brothers, and it was just it became normality.
I felt nothing but support.
Yeah.
As a female in aviation from men supporting me, I felt nothing but support.
I feel the same way. I get a lot of questions, like, how do you feel about, what did you go through? And I'm like, nothing. They're all my brothers. I don't get it.
Yeah.
But
I've seen, some folks will put out there, maybe the captain was kind of, trying to tell me what to do, or, maybe kind of, asking me a question about this or that.
You get that. You get that with everything.
We will get that. But you know what? They want to make you better.
Oh, yeah.
Sure. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And it's about making you safe, more and better. And, the thought process of mentoring the next captain, right? Because that's really what you're supposed to be doing as a captain.
It's how you take the criticism. If you take it constructively or not.
Correct.
If you're defensive on it, or if you take it constructively.
Yeah.
And that's how I've always felt about it. And I take it in. I like it.
Yeah.
Tell me what I did wrong. I love to hear that.
As pilots, we're constantly learning. Right?
Absolutely.
It doesn't matter how many years you've been in the industry.
Yeah. Nope. Still today, I don't get to fly as much as I used to fly. I used to be very comfortable in the airplane. Yeah. And so when I go, I always tell my FO, like, oh my God, watch me, tell me what I did wrong, whatever it is. It's constant learning. So I believe that.
Well, and there's a lot more airplanes in the sky, right?
Absolutely.
So we're all like,
It's exciting to come to these events
yeah.
and see so many women
Yes.
interested in aviation.
Absolutely.
And the young people, like you were just interviewing the university kids.
Yeah.
And they're so interested. My daughter's here. She's interested, so she's coming down in a few minutes, and
Wonderful.
she's really excited.
Has she started flying?
Yes, she started flying.
How old is she?
21.
That's perfect.
Yeah.
Wow.
So she's really excited,
That's
and I told her, you
fantastic.
just got to come down and see this. This is amazing.
We're gonna get her to become a cargo cat.
Yes, yes. And
Get her the fire in
one
the
of the
belly.
biggest things that people ask me at the Atlas booth is, how did you find out about cargo?
Yeah.
And I say that's a really good question, because when I was young, my dad was a Continental pilot, so all I knew was Delta, American, U.S. Airways.
Yep.
That's all I knew.
Yeah.
That's why I went to U.S. Airways. And then I found out about cargo, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is really cool.
Yep.
And I immediately fell in
Well,
love
and
with
the
it.
landscape has changed as far as consumers and how they buy, because they want this overnight package, right?
Yeah.
They want
Yeah.
e-commerce sent to their doorstep.
Right.
Sure.
And back in the day, we used to deliver milk to the front door, a
Yeah.
couple times a week, or
Yeah.
eggs or
Yeah.
whatever. And now we're delivering dresses and shoes and
Sure.
batteries and glasses.
It takes
and,
airplanes.
yeah, yeah, and it takes a huge fleet
Yeah.
to be able to do that.
To kind of go back on what you were just saying, Laurie, about getting younger people more interested in cargo, I do feel like, and I think Atlas actually does a really good job going to the universities and going to the fairs. One of my good buddies works for you, and he's always at those fairs for Atlas.
Oh,
And
great.
I love that connection that you guys are making and getting the information out there to somebody who is 18, 19, 20, 21. I feel like we all need to kind of, as an industry, a cargo industry, need to start having a presence at these university events, because
right.
we hook them then, whether they can start working for us right away with a restricted or have to, get the 1,500 for the unrestricted.
Sure.
Yep.
They still know about us, and it's getting that knowledge out, which is kind of what we're all here doing anyways.
Yes. Very important.
Atlas does such a good job.
What are your
Thanks.
schedules like typically? If you could just dive in real quick at Atlas.
Sure. So of course we have we do long haul. We no longer do the short haul stuff. We're no longer doing Amazon, or
Right.
not a lot of DHL stuff anymore either. So all of our customers are pretty much long haul customers, but our schedules are either you go out for the whole 15 to 17 days, or you can do split lines. So you can do 7 days on, 7 days off, that type of thing.
Sure.
Yeah.
And we do evenly. We split it evenly with the people that like to do the longer schedule as to the shorter schedule.
Yeah. Okay.
You can do 5 days on and then another 5. It's even split into 3.
Okay.
So we do have
There are a lot of different
a
options.
lot of different
Yeah,
options.
I feel like people immediately think cargo means you're going to be gone from home for
Oh,
17
yes.
days straight,
Yes.
and that's just not the truth.
Yeah.
We're the
Unless
same.
you wanted
Yeah.
to, right?
Well, you can.
Some
Yeah.
people like to do it. I just had a pilot call me the other day and say, why do I have to fly this line that takes me through my home 3 times in a month? Because I have a little kid that's 2 years old, and every time I leave my house, he screams and cries for 2 hours. I want to leave once.
Oh,
I'm like,
I see.
yep, okay.
Yeah.
And so we had this conversation with several women here, young women who are getting into the industry
Sure.
and don't really necessarily know what the schedules look like. But when I ask them, do you like to travel? Do you want to travel? And they're like, yeah, I want to go to Europe or wherever, And I'm like, well, you can do that. 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off, and then 2 weeks off, 2 weeks on. You could have almost 4 weeks off
Yeah.
to be able to travel to Europe.
Yeah.
Many vacations.
Yeah, or Indonesia. Right now we have a female pilot who is overseas, and she's traveling Korea, Indonesia, China. You can't do that with a regular
No.
line,
Yeah.
where you're working every
3 days.
3
4
days.
Just can't do
yeah,
it.
2 days
Yeah.
on.
Yeah.
But
I
you
was-
can do that with ours.
Exactly. It's really interesting. When I was at U.S. Airways years and years ago, I would literally have 3 days or 4 days on, another 3 or 4 days off. I felt like I was flying, because I was based in Philadelphia. I felt like I was flying home just to unpack my suitcase,
Yeah.
repack my
Yeah.
suitcase, and out I went. And I had
Yeah.
a little newborn at the time, and I never saw him.
Yeah.
And my husband owns a company in San Diego, so I wasn't going to move from San Diego. And as you know, PSA, which became U.S. Airways,
Yeah.
Yep.
was based in San Diego at the time. PSA was. So I was fighting against all the PSA senior guys to get on the jump seat to work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, and it was impossible to get to work.
Yep.
So I would just stay there. I'm like, well, I might as well just stay on. I only have 3 days off.
Yeah.
Right, right.
So it was really, really, really hectic. And I was talking to some of the American pilots over here at the American booth, and they're like, "Oh, we could never do your schedule." And I'm like, "Really? I don't know.
Yeah.
I guess to each his own.
Yeah.
Everybody's different, but
Yeah.
to me, bringing up 3 children made it easier. I would when I left for work, I had always had a mom, one of the other moms on call. I said, "Your mom while I'm gone, but when I'm home for 2 weeks, I'm mom for your kid. I'll take him to swimming, I'll take him to piano and soccer and whatever else.
Mhm.
But when I'm gone, you're doing that for this one."
Yeah.
So
So you had a network of support
yeah.
at
Yes,
home,
yes.
and it is important to, make I think women aware that you can fly, you can do this job, but you do have to have a strong support system at home.
Absolutely. Very
Yeah.
important. Yep.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Well, where do you see the future? Like, where do you want to travel next to? Where
Well-
do you want to go for your next vacation?
Right. So 2 weeks ago, I flew one of our 767s over to Rota, Spain, and I had the
Oh.
best time. So,
I love Spain.
and because it was a military flight, our military flights a lot of times get delayed. So we had a little delay. So instead of being there for 3 days, I was there for 5 days.
Oh,
shucks.
Rough life. Rough
We
life.
had a great time all the entire time. So I think on my next trip, I'm looking at probably Amsterdam.
wow.
Something fun.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I love that.
I don't blame you. I love it.
It's fun. It's a lot of fun. So
Well-
yes, cargo is the way to go, guys.
Cargo
Captain,
with-
thank you for coming by.
Yeah.
Thank
We
you.
appreciate
Thank you so
it.
much for
Thank you.
Will you
Yeah.
come back and see us?
I always do.
Yeah.
Close
Yeah.
and close with our ABEX people.
And I will point out that you have a special connection to ABEX because Randy Reesback trained you or
Yes.
checked you out back in 1997. But that's powerful. You know
That's
what I mean?
crazy,
Like
yeah.
it just shows you how small of a world it is that you reconnected with Randy back here at Women in Aviation.
Correct.
That was-
Yes. Well, actually, we connected back when we were all doing DHL back in Cincinnati, and I would hang out down at the crew room with all of the ABEX people. And actually, we kind of, I flew the trip that would go Cincinnati, Phoenix, San Diego, and we'd have a long layover in San Diego. And then DHL gave it to ABEX for 3 years. So I would jump seat home with you guys. So I would see all the ABEX. We were very close. Every
Yeah.
time ABEX pilots would fly that trip, they'd always call me and say, "I'm in San Diego," and we'd go meet somewhere. And, I would
Well,
drink
keep
and hang out.
harassing Randy.
Yes,
He
I
knows.
certainly will.
He-
Yes,
he
yes,
needs
yes.
it. Thanks for stopping
Lots
by.
of fun. Yeah, thank you so much.
Cats, remember you can follow us on Instagram, like us, follow us, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. And remember to
Smash that like button, followers. Thank you.
see you next time.